Hello, everyone. Ni hao. My name is Dr. Vahid Aryadoust. I'm the research program leader. Also an associate professor of language assessment and technology at ELL. And today I will briefly introduce our research programs in PhD and master by research. First things first, as you know, NIE, or you may not know this, so I'm sharing now, the National Institute of Education, or NIE, is a part of NTU. NTU, or Nanyang Technological University, is the main university, as NIE is one of the several colleges and schools situated within NTU. So if you become a student of NIE, you're actually a student of NTU as well. I'd like to start off by giving you a little bit of information about our very beautiful campus. As you can see on the right side of the screen, it's just a very small screenshot. NIE is beautiful, and here is the full image for you. And if you explore the campus of NIE and other parts of NTU, you will definitely enjoy the scenery and the sort of pristine wildlife that you see all over everywhere on the campus, in addition to the very many facilities and equipment that are available for research and teaching and learning centers, libraries, etc. We also have recreational facilities such as this wonderful swimming pool. I sometimes go there, take a swim, and it has been renovated very recently. It's one of the better swimming pools I have ever used in Singapore. So if you're interested in recreational activities like this or sports, we do have very interesting centers, places for you. For example, the running track, the football field, the squash courts and tennis courts, and so on and so forth. So I'm sure that you will have a very good and lovely time here on the campus of NTU. Another thing I would like to share with you, you probably recognize me from this picture, is our classrooms, specifically at NIE. Recently, NIE has been renovating classrooms, and the classrooms are really conducive, and they have been renovated in such a way that they can engage students in lots of group work activities. You see, these are some of the facilities we have, and I really enjoy using these touchscreen um, blackboards that are all over the place, just not just for the teacher, but also on other walls. I don't have the picture, unfortunately, but that they're located on other walls, and students can use them in their group activities. It just really makes really a very good contribution to our group works, which we conduct on a regular basis in our courses. So, I know that you are here and in order to find out more about our PhD program. So let me just move on quickly and cut to the chase. I'm going to introduce our PhD program to you as well as MA by research. In order to apply for our PhD program, you should consider a process, and it basically starts from um, contacting the supervisor. Therefore, I suggest that you consider these steps that I'm going to share with you because, based on my experience as a program leader, a successful student or successful applicant will have paid attention to what I'm going to share, and they have made a strong case for themselves based on, again, what I'm going to share. So the first step I suggest would be to identify a potential supervisor in the English Language and Literature department whose research area aligns with your research area, which brings me to a very important point. I do not recommend that you send generic emails to faculties whose work you don't know. And therefore, I suggest that before getting in touch with any faculty members, it would be good, it would be important to read at least three of the supervisor's recent publications, so you will get a sense for the area of expertise of that professor, and then you make up your mind as to whether to reach out to that person or another person. If you do make a decision that this person, that this supervisor is the right person to supervise you, they have got the expertise that you need, then the next step I would suggest would be to prepare an abstract of no more than 400 words, something between 300 to 400 words, as well as a research title in your abstract and your CV, your updated CV. Then, of course, you should send the abstract and the CV to that person. You introduce yourself concisely, explain your research area, and importantly, I suggest that you show alignment with your supervisor's work and, of course, attach your CV. If everything goes well, your potential, your prospective supervisor may ask you for an informal interview. This is not a formal PhD interview, but lots of our colleagues basically do this, and it's important both for you and the supervisor to get to know each other better and to decide whether you can work with each other in that meeting. After this stage, then you would start writing your proposal, your research proposal, which is very important. And it has to be at least 2,500 words, but there is no upper limit. Although we suggest that the proposal should be kept between 2,500 to 5,000 words and no more than that. And of course, your prospective supervisor can always take a look and give you feedback. Sometimes, depending on supervisor's basically preference, sometimes you may receive a lot of feedback on your proposal. Sometimes you may receive minimal feedback. In either case, it's always important, in my view, to send that proposal to your supervisor to take a look to make sure that he really accepts this form of work and he can work with you, or she or they can work with you on that research. Now, you may be asking, who are these potential supervisors and where I can find them and what areas of expertise are available at your department? That's a great question. So I have summarized the areas of expertise, and following this, I'm going to introduce our supervisors or potential supervisors to you, and you can always get in touch with them and ask any questions you have in the way that I explained. So the research domains that are covered at our department are really diverse, and this diversity makes it very exciting. We have got anything from academic writing, as you see in this graph, and academic writing, language learning, language assessment, teaching, oracy, L2 writing, and teacher education, to areas such as bilingualism, social linguistics, phonetics, and discourse. Another area is multi-modality and literacy, or multiliteracies. In addition, we've got children's literacy, creative writing, literature and culture, as well as drama and film, and Singapore and Southeast Asia literature. And last but not least, technologies and quantitative methods such as artificial intelligence and analytics, scientometrics, or any form of computational or research synthesis, as well as sociology with focus on applied linguistics. What I would like to share now is to give you an idea of who might be the right supervisor for you if you're interested in these areas of interest. I think that will be probably very interesting to especially those who are seeking to apply to our PhD programs. Chloe, can you still see my screen? Can you see this PDF?
Yep, can.
Okay, nice. Right, so this is the list of our supervisors, and I'm going to share this with you in the chat box, and Chloe can also share with the rest of you who do not have direct access to our chat box. Before I go through this list, I'd like to highlight a note here. To be considered for the PhD program, applicants are advised to contact only the professors whose names are highlighted in bold. And as you can see in this column, some potential supervisors' names are in bold. But if you're interested in applying for Masters by Research, we also have that option for you. Then you can actually reach out to any of these people, regardless of whether their names are highlighted in bold or not. So let me give an example on this list. For example, if your research domain is academic writing and an EAP, your main research area may be anything such as academic literacy, English for academic purposes, or EAP for short, ESL writing, writing instruction, or anything else. This is not an exhaustive list, or anything else that you feel may fall under academic writing and EAP. Now, what professors you can reach out in order to figure out whether they would be interested in supervising you or not. Professor I.C. Lee is one, Professor Ramona Tong, and Associate Professor Truong Yinling. And in the same way, for AI and analytics and technology, you can reach out to all of these professors. Actually, well, I would also consider applications. If anyone is interested, you can always write to me. And Dr. Gordon West is here today with us, and I'll pass it over to him later. He can talk about his areas of interest. Gordon, I hope I didn't misrepresent your area. Based on our conversations, I feel that you're interested in AI and the technologies. Anyway, I mean, you can clarify that later. So I will send this list to you, and you can reach out to these people. And now you might be asking, so where can I find the email addresses of these people? Here is where you can find email addresses. This is our departmental webpage. As you can see, we've got faculties, administrative staff, and so on and so forth. So all of these professors have different designations at our department. For example, the head of the department, the deputy head, two deputy heads, and then the faculty members. You can go down, scroll all the way down to find your right supervisor. So you just need to match the list that I showed you with the names here and find their areas of interest. For example, if you click on Professor Winninger's webpage, you will be directed to her um, personal webpage, and you will find her email address, and you can read more about her areas of interest, her research. You click on this selected publications and research, and anything else that you'd like to know about her. And this is how you can reach out to our professors. Another thing I would like to say is that we have a relatively large group of doctoral students. So if you join our program, I'm sure that you will enjoy communicating with these people and learning from each other. So this is not really an exhaustive list of our doctoral students. We're updating this at the moment. Two of our PhD students are here today. They will share their experience with you. In addition, one of our former PhD student who has graduated, Dr. Zhang, who has graduated and has found herself a job in Singapore, will share her experience about NIE and especially ELL. Okay, let me switch back to my slides and continue with the rest of the PhD application process. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to write the questions in the box, and I will make sure to get back to them and answer them. Now, you might be asking, all right, so after I find my supervisor, what should I do? Um, okay, the next step is to submit your application. Remember, if you're applying to our Master's Bioresearch program, you need to have at least a bachelor's degree with at least second-class upper honors from any universities around the world. Or if you're applying for our PhD program, you need to have bachelor's degree with at least second-class upper honors, as well as master's degree in a relevant field. What I recommend on top of these, but is not necessary, of course, is to have demonstrated research capability. Therefore, especially if you're applying for a PhD program, I would highly recommend that if you're currently in a master program and you're considering to apply for our PhD program, I highly recommend that you take the master by dissertation route if it's available at your institute, or in some other universities they call it master by thesis route. If it's available, that gives you demonstrated research capabilities, not to mention that publications, any conference presentations and things like that are always welcome, and they can give you a better chance for admission or scholarship. But of course, it doesn't guarantee that you will receive a scholarship or admission, but it's always better to have these on your CV rather than not any of them. Okay, then what should I submit? Well, this is the list of the documents that you're required to submit. I quickly go through them, and if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. Passport size photographs, passport or NRIC copy, scanned, and importantly, research supplementary information form, degree certificates and transcripts, official GPA or CGPA, two academic referee reports who will independently write a report for you and evaluate your capacity to start a PhD. the IELTS and TOEFL scores, as well as GRE scores. Now, just two notes about these two, numbers 7 and 8, because a lot of people ask me, especially potential applicants who are interested to apply, they ask whether it is necessary to submit these to number 7 and 8. The answer is yes and no. It depends on whether it's applicable to you. So, how do you know if it is applicable to you? If you're graduated from a master's program at NIE or a local university, a major local university, or for example, any departments at NTU, you're not required to submit GRE and TOEFL and IELTS scores because you probably have already done that in your master's program, and you're not required to do that anymore. However, if you're not graduated from NIE or NTU or other universities in Singapore, but if your bachelor's degree was issued by a university with English as a medium of instruction, then you will be exempted from submitting the TOEFL and IELTS scores, but you will not be exempted from submitting your GRE scores. So GRE scores remains a must, like I said, unless you are a graduate of a local university. And finally, of course, your CV, which is important. And about IELTS and TOEFL scores, an IELTS minimum score, band score of 7 is required, or the TOEFL minimum score of 100, a GRE of minimum 319, cumulative verbal and quantitative scores, and a minimum of 3.5 in analytical writing is also required, with an additional requirement of at least 90% of scores in the GRE. And these are the requirements that you need to take into account. The question is, when can I apply? Can you just apply right now? Can you apply another time? The good news is that we have two intakes annually, and one of them is in January, and the other one is August. Let's say you are interested to apply for our January intake. So you're supposed to submit your application by the end of November or December in order to figure out whether it's November in December, because it sometimes changes. Please check NIE announcements, and Chloe and I will make sure to leave the relevant link for you so you can have access to it. And if you want to apply for the August intake, then you should apply before the May of or June of that year. So by August, you will have received the decision letter from NIE or NTU, either one, and the decision will be about your admission and your scholarship. If you have applied for a scholarship and if you were eligible for receiving a scholarship, of course, you will also receive a scholarship. And Rita and Yining will uh, talk about the experience with getting a scholarship and how helpful it was to have a scholarship to do a PhD. And another thing is, what happens after I submit my application? Well, one of the important things that happens is that shortlisted applicants will definitely attend an interview. I myself will be chairing the interview. Your prospective or potential supervisor will also attend that interview, but they will stay as a silent observer. And then at the end, a recommendation will be made by the interview panel and the head of the department. And based on that recommendation, you will hopefully receive an admission letter and hopefully again a scholarship, a PhD scholarship. But like I said, scholarships are very, very competitive. So well, it's not guaranteed. Now, the next thing I wanted to say, to share with you is about the PhD curriculum overview, which I think is important. A lot of applicants have no idea what happens after they enter our PhD program at ELL. So there is a standard kind of curriculum here for all of you, but you can always take courses in departments beyond NTU, beyond NIE, beyond NTU, and even to go to other universities which are located in Singapore and take any courses that you like to. And we encourage it, especially for those applicants who are very excited about doing interdisciplinary research. At any rate, in the first year, you are required to take 4 graduate level courses, which are selected from master's program or approved social topic courses. You're also required to pass to clear a qualifying examination within the 18 months, the first 18 months of your candidature. for full-time students and 24 months for part-time students. And then there are coursework requirements, research preparation. You need to provide an in-depth literature review, particularly for your qualifying examination, which is also known as confirmation seminar locally at NIE. Then there are mandatory trainings that are supposed to be passed, communication requirements, courses. Sometimes you can get an exemption from one or two, but it's compulsory for all students to pass at least three courses at this level. And there is, of course, the thesis requirement. This is probably the most important one. The student is supposed to produce an original publication-worthy thesis. That's why a lot of our students start sending out whatever that they have achieved, whatever that they have written during their thesis writing process to journals for publication. It gives them a lot of good opportunities. Later on, our students here will share with you what they have done with regards to this thesis requirement and publication-worthy research. And then the thesis word limit is between 70,000 words to 100,000 words. For our department at ELL, the cap is 100,000 words. This does not include references or tables or other visuals in the text. It only counts the prose text and nothing else. And finally, you have a viva or an oral defense. This is really a very brief overview of the programs that you should expect. And if you have any questions, again, please ask me. At this time, I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you. At this time, I would like to invite our colleagues and students here. As I promised, Dr. Gordon West is going to share his research with you. He's an assistant professor here at NIE. He's also open to taking on PhD students. So without any further ado, I would like to pass it over to Gordon, who will talk about his research, and then I will introduce the rest of our presenters today. Gordon, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Vahid. I appreciate the introduction. Let me just share my slides really quick.
Sure.
Okay, there we go. Um, as Vahid mentioned, my name is Gordon West. I'm an assistant professor here in ELL, and I joined just last year from the US. My research works across several of the different areas that Vahid showed earlier. So it really mainly focuses on language assessment, early literacy, classroom interaction, and multimodality. So you can see some of the key questions I'm interested in asking with my research are highlighted on this slide. I think that overall, I'm sort of asking with my research, how do we decide what counts as evidence of language and literacy development, especially for young learners? So that's where I've been working for a while now. And the tension that I keep coming back to is that a lot of assessment still privileges these fairly narrow forms of evidence, so spoken answers, written responses, rubrics, scores. But in classrooms, children show us what they know in so many other ways through gesture and gaze and drawing and movement, digital tools, peer interaction, using the materials around them. So my work asks if assessment can become more responsive to those richer forms of meaning making. And also, can we think about validity not just as a technical property, but as something that is actively shaped through interaction, interpretation, and institutional expectations with learners' lived experiences? So my current projects address these questions. I'm also, increasingly interested in this AI mediated, digitally mediated assessment, particularly for young learners with speaking. So I have some projects in the works looking at, you know, taking an ethnographic look at language assessment in early childhood and lower primary grades, and also looking at how young learners in primary school interact with AI chatbots during feedback sessions. And as Vahid mentioned, I am open to PhD applicants. So this slide gives you a sense of the specific directions I have in mind. But what I'd really like to highlight is that I enjoy working with students who want to connect theory really closely to practice and who care about what assessment and literacy actually do in classrooms and in learners' lives. Uh, and again, as Vahid mentioned, there may also be funded PhD opportunity connected to this research area, particularly for somebody whose interests align closely with these and with my work. Um, in the areas of language and literacy assessment, multimodality, classroom interaction, fit and eligibility would need to be discussed individually. But I really welcome inquiries. If any of this resonates or is interesting to you, please do reach out and I would be very happy to talk. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gordon. Very, very useful. I'm sure that there will be potential applicants who would be interested to speak with you about opportunities to work with you. All right. And I'd like now to pass it over to Dr. Zhang Weiyu. Just wanted to say that Dr. Zhang Weiyu is a language specialist now at RELC. She did her PhD here at ELL, and we're very happy for her to have landed herself a great job in Singapore. She's going to reflect on her experience at our department, NIE, as well as NTU, and her job opportunities that she had later anything that she feels would be interesting to you. She was going to share that. So I'm going to just pass it over to you, Wei.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wahi. Thank you so much for having me back to NIE. Okay, it's a pleasure to be back and meet our potential candidates for the master's and PhD programs. So I will just briefly share my journeys at NIE, which is very rewarding, and later you will know. So I will start with the self-introduction of me. My name is Zhang Weiyu. Okay, I'm originally from China. And before I attended the programs at NIE, I used to teach in China. I teach English language at the university in China. And I actually had a very long history with NIE because I first came to NIE in 2014 to study for my postgraduate diploma in English language teaching. And during my stay here, I discovered my research interest. So I continued with my master's degree in applied linguistics. And later, this also led to a PhD degree in applied linguistics. So my research focused on corpus linguistics, academic writing, and discourse analysis. And Associate Professor Chung Yin Ling is my supervisor. So if any of you are interested in these areas, you probably can consider contacting her for the supervision. So I graduated in 2023. So after my graduation, fortunately, I got a job here in Singapore as the language specialist at CMU RELC, which is a regional language center, and we offer short-term courses to language teachers in Southeast Asian countries. So the teachers, they came here for short-term courses and also postgraduate level and master level teacher education programs. And next, I'm going to share about my major takeaways from NIE, which I found it very helpful, especially like to apply in my current work. I have categorized my takeaways into three categories: teaching, research, and also other professional skills. So I came here to did a postgraduate diploma in English language teaching and then a master's. Actually, I found this study experience very practical, especially in helping me to build a very strong foundation in English language teaching theories and also practices. And this knowledge can be directly applied to my current role as a language teacher because now my course participants, they are language teachers in the region, and some of them are very experienced practitioners, some with 20 or even 30 years of experience. So without my studies in NIE, without all these foundational knowledge I get, I think I would not be able to have the competence and also the confidence to teach this group of learners. And also in research, I found that NIE is a very good place for developing your research interest and skills, because here we have a lot of very strong researchers, okay, like Dr. Wahid himself and also Professor Gordon West. Some of them are among the top 2% scientists, okay, based on their citation indexes. So here you'll be able to work closely with these scholars and to gain some experience in academic research and also publication. It will be a very good opportunity to help you build up your publication profile, especially if you want to apply for research positions or or you want to be a professor in universities, okay? So I also found my experience here is especially in the development of my research skills, very useful, because it informs my role now. Because now, besides teaching, I like doing research and also serving as the editor of our journals is also part of my job responsibilities. So my experience in NIE can really inform my current roles in these areas. And besides like gaining teaching expertise and research skills, NIE also offers opportunities to develop your other professional skills. For example, myself, I have served as the president for the Graduate Student Club. I have co-chaired the academic conferences in NIE, and this is very good opportunities for you to develop your leadership skills, organizational, event, or even time management skills. And these are also very useful skills, which is also relevant to my job here, because here at our center, we also organize like academic conferences, and we also need to serve as, for example, the course coordinators and program coordinators. And these relevant skills can actually be applied into my current role. And also because NIE, you know, our students, they came from very different countries and cultures. Here you can also have the opportunity to develop your skills in cross-cultural communications. This is also quite relevant for my teaching now, because my course participants, they are teachers from very different countries around Asia. So being exposed to these cultures, dynamics, and differences also help me to be better communicators cross-culturally. So now I will just share a little bit about the oh, sorry, I forgot to change my slide. And yes, this is my major takeaways. And then for some possible career options, okay, actually this is only based on my own observations, so it might be quite narrow. And of course, I think beyond this area, you'll be able to find other interesting areas for you to choose as your career. So for teaching, actually, some of my master's classmates or PhD classmates, they actually secured teaching positions, for example, in schools or in language centers to teach language. And others, they may be able to secure some research and some positions in related to research. For example, some of them are can obtain some positions as postdoctoral researchers at universities or research institutions, and some of them are also lecturers or professors at universities, both here in Singapore, in China, or in other countries. So actually the career, you can have a variety of career options, okay, after your graduation. So one of the lessons I learned from my own experience is that it's better for you to have a very clear goal. Okay, so what do you want to pursue as your career after the graduation? So during your studies in NIE. You can get yourself more prepared. For example, if you are more interested in teaching, you can probably get more involved and to gain more practical or teaching experiences. If you are more interested to get a research-related position, probably you need to focus more on the development of your research skills, maybe to do more research, publish your research in journals, book chapters, or even present at academic conferences. Okay. I think this is everything I have to share.
Very nice. Thank you very much. That was a very great and very helpful presentation where I really appreciate it. And I'm sure that everyone has found it useful. Just wanted to add another point here because you highlighted employability of our
Yeah.
graduates. That's a very great point that you mentioned. I want to say I'm going to actually share a link here to our participants so they will know about the employability statistics. Where is the chat box? Okay. We have a very high employability rate. That's what what I would like to highlight here. And I'm reading it from our website that NTU Singapore graduates, well, they see uh, steady employment results with 9 in 10 securing employments within 6 months of completing their final examinations, which is really a very, very high rate. In other words, 90% of our graduates are employed within 6 months of completing their final examinations, which is pretty good. And if you're asking about salary, what kind of salaries these participants will receive, I don't know about Wei's salary. I'm not going to ask her, but well, the salary that they receive according to this website is a gross monthly salary of 4,800, close to 5,000 Singapore dollars a month for a fresh graduate in full-time permanent employment, which is really good and considerable compared with many universities around the world. So your experience at NIE will not only build a solid academic background for you, but also will offer you very good job opportunities in your future. That's something to consider. So you're investing in your future by joining our program here. Thank you again, Wei. I would like to pass it over to two of our PhD students. They're going to view ELL and discuss their experience from a different perspective, a different angle as current PhD students. At this time, maybe if we could start with Yining, are you around?
Yes, I'm around.
Very good, Yining. So let me just, I don't see you, but if you
Okay,
could
let me
open your,
the camera. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
would be
hi.
great.
Mm.
Very nice. Hi.
Mm.
Yining, thank you for joining us. Yining is a PhD student. She's in her first year. She came from the UK. She did her BA and MA from the UK universities, some of the toppest universities in the UK. You can share that with us. And now she has joined our program at ELL. Over to you, Yining. You could also, if you have slides, could you please also share them?
Okay, sure. I'll just share my slides with you. Okay. So can you see my slides right now? Okay, thank you. So I'll start my sharing.
Can you put it on presentation mode? Would be
Okay,
great.
sure. Yeah. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Han Yining, and I'm currently a year 1 PhD student in the English Language and Literature Department at the National Institute of Education. I joined this PhD program in August last year, and my supervisor is Associate Professor Vahid Aryadoust. So today I'd like to share with you my experience as an ELL PhD student, and I'd like to talk about why I chose this program and what my research is about and what PhD life here looks like. So first, let me briefly introduce my academic journey to NIE ELL PhD program. So I completed my master's studies at the University of Oxford, and during my master's studies, I developed strong research interests in areas like AI and language education, especially L2 speaking and language assessment. And I'm also very interested in research synthesis in applied linguistics. So after completing my master's studies, I started searching for different PhD opportunities around the world. And finally, I found that the NIE ELL PhD program strongly aligned with my academic interests and future research goals. So next, I would like to share with you some of my reasons for finally choosing ELL PhD. So the first and foremost reason is a shared research interest with my supervisor, Vahid. So my supervisor's research interest in language assessment and scientometric review strongly matches the areas that I want to explore. So when I submitted my application, I firmly believe that I could learn a lot from him and his guidance. And another reason is that I was attracted by NIE's strong academic reputation. So like in this year's QS ranking, NIE ranked 8th for the education subjects. And we have many faculty members who are internationally recognized scholars, including faculty listed among top 2% scientists by Stanford University. So by the time I submitted my application, I really look forward to the opportunities to learn from these professors and even some potential collaboration opportunities to work with them. And the third reason is the rich scholarship support for the PhD students at NIE. So we all know that PhD studies can sometimes involve high academic pressure, but here at NIE, we have rich scholarship support such as NTU Research Scholarship, Nanyang President's Graduate Scholarship, NIE PhD Scholarship, and these scholarship opportunities can really help us PhD students to focus more on our academic and research development without worrying too much about the financial pressure. So which is, I think is really important during the PhD studies. And after joining the NIE ELL PhD program, I would say my experience has been even better than I expected. So one thing I really appreciate is the strong academic support from both my supervisor and the department. So I have regular supervision meetings with my supervisor almost every week, and these supervision meetings always provide a lot of insights into my research progress and future directions. In addition, our ELL department also holds regular research group seminars and academic discussions. So for example, last week, our language assessment and technologies research group invited Dr. Kim from the University of Melbourne to talk about the multimodal capabilities of generative AI and their applications in language assessment. And earlier this year, the literacies and research group invited Professor Hafner from the City University of Hong Kong to give a talk on digital multimodal composing research. So I think this kind of research group seminars and academic discussions are really helpful for us PhD students to keep updated with the latest research trends and to connect with the leading scholars in our field. And NIE ELL PhD program also offers some inter-institutional research support and collaboration opportunities. So for each of the PhD students, we have something called a thesis advisory committee. And this committee is composed of our supervisors, a nominated member from NIE, and a nominated member from outside NIE. So for example, my TAC member, apart from my supervisor Vahid, I also have Professor Farhan Ali, who is from the Department of Learning, Science and assessment at NIE. And I also have Professor Gary Oki from the Iowa State University as one of my TAC member. So during the yearly TAC meeting, all of my TAC members give me a lot of insights into my PhD research, and I revised a lot based on their useful suggestions. So this kind of inter-institutional research support is also very important for us PhD students during our PhD studies. And another thing I value a lot is the interdisciplinary research opportunities offered by our department. So here at ELL, faculty members come from diverse research backgrounds, so students can always find the professors whose expertise matches their own research interest. And apart from applied linguistic research, we are also exposed to emerging research areas such as generative AI and sensor technologies. For example, our lab has FNIRS and eye tracking tools so that we can have the opportunity to conduct some interdisciplinary research that combine education, neuroscience, and the emerging generative AI technologies. So this really helps the PhD students to keep updated with the latest research trends. And actually, these research facilities strongly support my current PhD project, which focuses on using a multimodal GPT-based spoken dialogue system for speaking proficiency assessment. And specifically, I will compare different examiners, including human examiners, a voice-based spoken dialogue system, and an avatar-based spoken dialogue system. So like I mentioned before, because our lab has the FNIR tools, this allows me to collect some brain data so that I can scan the brain of my participants and to use them for my data collection, which is really helpful. And finally, I would like to briefly share what PhD life here looks like. So of course, coursework and research are major parts of our PhD studies. And besides research activities, there are also teaching assistant opportunities, which can be super valuable for students who want to pursue faculty or academic positions in the future. And at the same time, PhD life is not only about research and studies. We also have many social and extracurricular activities. For example, we have botanic garden trip, BBQ gathering, and Chinese New Year gathering. So this kind of activities provide great opportunities to socialize, relax, and build friendships within the ELL community. So overall, I'm very grateful for the academic support, interdisciplinary opportunities, and the research environment in the ELL department. So if you are interested in the program, please feel free to visit the website and explore the application information. And we really look forward to welcoming you to join the NIE ELL family. So that's all for my sharing. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box, and I'm very willing to answer them from the perspective of a current PhD student. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Yining. It was very helpful, and I'm sure our participants have found it useful. Okay, I want to answer some of the questions that are posted here. One is by Fiza Siribini asking, is there any teaching or publication requirement before graduation? Great question. Okay, Chloe has already answered you. So there is no publication requirement for those students who are offered a scholarship. There is something that's called gap hours. They have to basically serve those gap hours at the institute. Is for non-local students is around 400 plus, and for local students this is a different number. Those gap hours can be spent on teaching, research, or service provided to the department or beyond. But there is no publication requirements. Now, don't worry about that. Is there any other questions? I mean, Chloe has very efficiently answered all the questions. So I don't think.
Someone asked for PhD students, every year, how long is their vacation?
Oh, that's a great question. Yining, is it 20 days, 24 days? If I'm not wrong, it's 20. Oh, Yining is just frozen. So it's around 24 days. Of course, I can ask Rita, who's going to be the last presenter. Rita, is that 24 days or
21 working days.
21 working days? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's quite generous. So you can take leave for 21 working days. Very nice. And on that note, I would like to pass it over to Rita, our third year PhD candidate, who is at a different stage of her PhD research at this time. And she's gonna share her perspective. Rita, we have around 6 minutes. I'm sorry that we haven't gotten much time left for you. So see if you can wrap it up around 5 minutes-ish. Over to you.
Okay. Okay. So, can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see if you could put it on the presentation mode would be
Okay,
good.
so
Yes.
good afternoon, everyone. I'll try my best to control my part within 5 minutes. My name is Zhai Jiayu, and I'm currently a third-year PhD student at ELL. My research field is elder listening assessment. Before studying my PhD here, I also completed my master's degree at ELL as Master of Arts, Applied Linguistics. So in many ways, ELL has been a very important part of my academic journey for quite a long time, and I know this wonderful place quite well. Okay, so for me, I think ELL is a place with a very strong academic environment, many research opportunities, and also very supportive atmosphere. So, like many PhD students, my PhD journey so far has also been challenging and rewarding. For example, we need to learn new research methods, do academic writing, and of course, experience moments of uncertainty. But I really appreciate is that at ELL, these challenges always come together with a great deal of support. So one of the most important parts of my PhD is that I've been receiving very excellent mentorship, and I feel very fortunate to have a supervisor who is very responsible and supportive. And I think that this is actually also very much the style of mentorship of the whole faculty at ELL more generally. What really means more to me is that the warm encouragement that often comes with the support. And this actually really means a lot for a PhD student. And another thing I really value about ELL is the academic environment. We have many seminars on a wide range of topics, which give us quite a lot of opportunity to learn from different perspectives and areas of expertise. And also, we have quite a lot of talks by well-known scholars, and the opportunities for one-on-one consultation with these invited speakers. So actually, these opportunities are very valuable because they allow us to hear inspiring ideas and also to encourage us to engage more directly with the scholars in various fields. And also, ELL highly encourages us to attend and participate in academic conferences. And also, there is a funding support specifically for this. So this is the photo. This photo was taken when Dr. Vahid and I was presenting our paper in ILA, a very influential academic meeting in the field of applied linguistics. And also, another aspect I want to mention is the resources that ELL offer me. For example, my own research is quite interdisciplinary, and one of the methods I use in my research is eye tracking. So here is the eye tracker I use. This is small, but it's actually very expensive. And now our lab has Toby's most advanced eye tracker, the Toby Pro Spectrum. So I think that having these resources and facilities are quite essential if you want to do the high quality research, especially that is interdisciplinary. So I would skip this. Actually, I wanted to play two short videos about my research, which I collected data with the eye tracker, but due to time limits, I'll just skip that. And last one, I would quickly show that a more relaxing part. That is I think that ELL really gives me a sense of community and sense of belongings. There are many students' activities of different kinds, and these are all great opportunities for us to connect with one another. So we have barbecues, hiking. We know Singapore is a very safe and beautiful country. And most of the activities, the faculty would join us, including our program leader, Dr. Vahid, and our head, Dr. Chila Whittinger. So for PhD students, I think that this really matters a lot because sometimes doing PhD can be intense and demanding, and you have peers to talk to, share experience with, and having that your time really makes a great difference. So overall, looking back on my journey at ELL so far, I feel that ELL has offered me much more than just a place to study. It actually shaped who I am now and make me a better me. So for anyone who is interested in doing PhD here, I would say that this is really a wonderful place where you are encouraged to fully learn, to explore, and to grow. And thank you very much. I hope I did not overrun the time. Yeah.
No, you did well.
Over
Thank
to
you
you,
very
Dr.
much
Vahid.
for that. Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very, very useful and clear presentation. I think it gave the audience a good idea about your academic life and your life in general here on the campus of NTU and NIE overall. So at this point, I think it's just 4 o'clock, but if you have any last questions, I'm happy to take one more questions if there is any. Okay. Do I have to go through? I'm just reading one of the questions. Do I have to go through the coursework if I have a master's in arts, research track? Okay. Well, some of these courses can be used to make a case for your exemption. And so you can get an exemption from some of the courses that you have to take from PhD. But like I said, all PhD students are required to clear at least 3 courses. Right, that's how it works. Any other questions?
One student asked if we have any internal job fairs.
Internal job fairs. We have had that in the past. And I think that's not really within the purview of ELL, but I can follow up on that and see whether we've got any job fair. But we have had that a lot. I mean, I usually walk through some place that's called North Spine. Those of you who are familiar with NTU, you know where North Spine is. And I see job fairs a lot there, and so many job fairs there. So about internal ones at NIE, there have been quite a few in the past, and I'm sure there will be in the future. NTU and NIE, generally speaking, have a very active kind of environment. So there's always something going on, job fairs, some events, some retreats, some fun activities in different parts of the campus. So I'm sure there will be job fair in near futures too. Okay, any other thing? Any other question? All right, so at the end, I'd like to share my email address. I just need to share the screen. Sorry, Rita, I have to share my screen. Okay, this is my email address. I hope you can see. Okay. This is my email address. Thank you again for attending this event. If you have any questions or you need me to provide any further clarification about the research program in the PhD research program as well as Master by Research program, please feel free to reach out to me. I understand some of you were asking about doctoral of education. That's our EDD program. This is not under my purview. My colleague, Dr. Kirin Kaur, will be in charge of that. And I hope to see some of you joining our programs in the near future. And all the best. And I hope